People often ask me at conferences and congresses about some of the most memorable events I have ever been part of and what made them so memorable, so different, so special. In one of the upcoming episodes, I want to talk to you about conferences of the future, about some of my conclusions from auditing conferences, looking at them from project management perspective, working on stage, but also spending a lot of time backstage and observing how things are unfolding. But before that, let's answer the first question. One of the most memorable conferences I remember. It happened 3 years ago. It was called ICCA World Congress. ICCA stands for International Congress and Convention Association. Back then, it organized its iconic annual event in Poland, and there was a lot of doubt around it because of the circumstances. And what I mean by circumstances is it happened barely 2 years after the global lockdowns of COVID 2020. Not only that, things conspired to make it a lot more difficult for Poland and the region as well. This conference was scheduled in a year when Russians decided to invade Ukraine yet again. So this happened in February 2022. And after that, as you would have seen from media reports all around the world, Poland very much felt like, if not a war zone, then definitely a war buffer, with millions and millions of Ukrainians crossing the Polish border. Looking back at that time, I can tell you that I've never been more proud of Poland and Poles in general. So many people crossing safely without disruption, reaching not only the biggest cities in Poland, but also small towns, private individuals traveling to borders to help refugees travel to their destinations of choice. It was unimaginable to witness that. People took in refugees to their private homes. At the time, literally hundreds of thousands of Poles cooperated closely to establish all kinds of impromptu solutions to help those in need, starting from private individuals who invited Ukrainian citizens to their homes for sometimes long periods of time, help them find a job, find some place to stay in. Corporations and public institutions were involved. International companies organized themselves, opened up their spaces, their offices, created education initiatives. Young Ukrainians were admitted to Polish schools. Social benefits were offered almost instantly to Ukrainian mothers and children. So there were lots and lots of parallel initiatives. And it happened so efficiently that you could barely see anything like a refugee camp or a dedicated site with thousands of people. All those support and aid initiatives were distributed all across Poland. As a result, even though in a city like Kraków, the number of inhabitants increased almost literally overnight by 20%. Kraków is a city of less than 1 million people. And at some point, there were 175,000 Ukrainians in the city, as the city hall estimated. At some point, many of those people have stayed in Kraków till today itself, working, supporting the economy, becoming part of the social fabric here in Kraków. You can hear Ukrainian in the streets of Kraków till today itself, every day, easily, on public transport, etc. So this was important context for the organization of this global summit. At some point, there was a lot of doubt as to whether this conference was even possible in Kraków because of the concerns coming from outside. So as we were brainstorming what to do and how to make everyone understand that despite this massive charitable effort of the country as a whole, the situation here felt perfectly safe, perfectly normal, despite all that media coverage implying that Poland was essentially a buffer zone for what was happening in Ukraine, which it was. A few weeks before the Congress, I took this very same camera with me outside, went to a couple of spots in the city and recorded a short invitation to Congress participants. The general idea was that they should see what the city feels like in some of its most popular landmarks and places where people come and visit, spend some time after work. And it felt perfectly peaceful and natural. The weather was splendid, late autumn. Eventually, over 80 nationalities came to Krakow, 86 if I remember correctly. Initially, the expected figure was somewhere around 300-400 people, but eventually about 900 participants came to Krakow to enjoy one of the most extraordinary 4-day events I have ever been part of. And trust me when I say that, I've been part of a bit less than 500 professional conferences and congresses in my life. That one would be in my top 10. What else made this conference special? Other than the fact that it kept me busy for 4 days, from early morning hours to late nights. Lots and lots of preparations, lots and lots of behind the scenes activities, planning, scheduling, last minute changes. But what made this conference really special was that it was experience centric. Because of the cultural diversity of the event itself, and because of the fact that for those people coming for this event, organizing conferences and congresses is their everyday activity. So one might think they know all about it. So they're here to network, interact, meet friends they haven't seen for a year, for many years sometimes. So it was very much experience-centric. Lots and lots of diverse activities, lots and lots of interactions and strategic sessions, etc. And now, 3 years later, this conference is about to start in its 64th edition in Portugal, Porto. Best of luck to all of you up there already in Portugal, about to start enjoying this one-of-a-kind experience. Just thinking about those wonderful people traveling from all around the globe to talk about the priorities of the industry makes me so sentimental looking back at the Krakow edition. So good luck, have lots and lots of fun and create real impact, not just for the event industry, congresses, conventions, trade fairs, but going beyond. All the best.